Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Welcome to my eyeshadow palettes revisited for April, even though it's already the start of May. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is going to be some eyeshadow palettes I went back to that I've had in my collection for a long time that I either just wanted to go back to because they are some of my favorites, but also because I haven't played with some of these in a while and they had kind of fallen by the wayside in my makeup collection, which is why I like doing this video series, and I'm wearing one of the looks I created with one of these palettes today. So we'll be inserting all of the looks that I've done with these in the past couple of weeks so you get an idea of what they are now, and we can talk about, do I still like these? Have they been dethroned or do I still love them? So let's just get cracking. Before we get into the video, it may be good to know who I am and what I like doing on this channel. My name is Maaike, I live in the Netherlands, I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and this greatly influences how I feel about makeup. I have been reviewing makeup for more than a decade. I love trying out eyeshadow palettes, Estee and Catrice, and getting the use out of my makeup. So if that's something you're interested in, then I hope you'd like to consider subscribing. So first things first, I ended up selecting an extra one as I was going through the month. So I'll chat to you in a little bit about that, but do excuse the nails. I haven't had time to do it again after I came back from London. I'm still a bit tired, but I did a lot of walking, as you will see in the vlog that goes live in a couple of days over on the second channel. So if you want to see what I was up to and why my nails look absolutely horrible, then maybe you can check that out. So what did I have in this month's selection? I only had one truly neutral thing for me in here, which was the Lorac Pro 4. I had already selected in my Shop My Stash 3 of these little Huda Beauty palettes, the Obsessions palettes. And then as I was going to London, I was packing my stuff. I was like, might as well bring the Huda Beauty palettes because they're in my Shop My Stash anyways. And then I decided to put Purple Haze in there as well to have some more purples. And then I wanted to play with some color. After having so much fun playing with color in March, I wanted to go back to some of my more colorful options, which are my Menagerie palettes. So I'll leave the Menagerie for last because those are the fun ones. I kicked things off after trying the New to Me palettes this month with the Lorac Pro 4, and this was one that I almost decluttered because I haven't reached for this ever since purchasing it. So I used to own 4 of these palettes, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, with 3 being my all-time favorite neutral palette for a very, very long time. That has now been moved into a makeup memory box. Number 1 and 2 have been decluttered ever since I bought them. And the one that I decided to still keep around this round, when I did my declutters in March, was this guy. And this looks very deceiving because it has the purple black background. So I now know from having used this again that it is a lot softer looking than it does that you might expect just looking at the palette. So I believe I did a look with some of my favorite shades, which is this one here. I really enjoy silver mauve, and then also like these like plummy brown things I really like. It's not super warm. If you take this orange tone out, let me see if I can flip the palette so I can show you. Like if you cover this one up, it's very neutral with a hint of mauve. And the mauves we get in here, they're not super cool tone. They're not like super blue, but they're really good neutral mauve tones. So they're not too warm, not too cool, and they really alter the look depending on what you put them with, which is something I hadn't clocked the last time I used it. So what I did with this is that I bought it, did the review, and then I never reached for it again. And now I'm really glad I still have it because this is actually really, really pretty. I really enjoy the shades in here with the look that I was able to do. And I've confirmed for myself that this is okay to have in my makeup collection. Is it unique? No, because I have plenty of rosy tone palettes. But this just is a really, really good one. And I know people want to know what are some good cool tone rosy neutrals, because rosy neutrals are really easy to find if they're warm toned. But cooler toned ones like these, like I say, some of them are cool toned, but there is definitely some warmth. I mean, this pink is pretty warm toned, but then for instance, the shade right above it is quite a cool toned like rosy lavender almost. So this is not a cool tone palette, but it's definitely a rosy tone, and I do really enjoy it. Which brings me to my little Huda Beauty palette family, and I have said about these in the past, and I'll say it again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. If you have a couple of these and you've never paired them together, please do, because they make for some stunning looks if you mix and match these. So I have a couple of the green ones, the khaki and the emerald, which I like to combine, and this time round, I made, I think I did a look where I combined all three of them. That's the one I have a picture for. But when I was in London, I wore these as well because I was like, you know what, these are in my shop, my stash. And as I just mentioned, I decided to throw the purple haze in there so I could do something a bit more plum. Because the Nude Light Obsessions does have this like really pretty lilac shade in. It's my favorite shade in the palette, but there's not really anything to go with it. Because what a lot of these Huda Beauty palettes have is that they're quite warm toned and quite peach heavy. So if you don't like peach, these are not going to be your vibe. But I figured that if I were to play with some of the purples that are in the purple haze, that they could really nicely complement that lilac-y shade in the Light Obsession. So what I ended up doing, I think I used this one in the crease, I'm sure, and then I ended up using this shimmer all over the lid. I used that lighter one in the inner corner, and I used this deeper purple as a bit of liner for a full-on purpley toned look, and it worked really, really well. These are so easy to work with. It's the good Huda Beauty formula that I know I love, so I really enjoyed that. And then the other look I did while I was away was with the Sand Haze and the Nude Rich. The medium of the nude palettes was a bit too warm toned for my liking, so I went with light and the rich, but then the Sand Haze came out, and this was like what I wanted, the medium that sat in between those two, what I wanted it to be. So again, I don't remember exactly what I did, but I remember that I put this shimmer all over the lid, and it was so pretty. I think I went in with this matte, so the matte in the corner here, this one in the crease, and then I put this one all over it, and it's like a rosy, peachy tone. And I wore it the day I went out shopping, and so many of the makeup artists who were at counters were like, oh, I love your eye look today. So I felt very chuffed with that, to get compliments like that. So yeah, that's what I did, and I don't remember what I did exactly for the one where I actually have the picture, because I didn't take pictures as I was going around London because I didn't bring my camera, but you can see those looks if you end up watching my vlog that goes live on the other channel in a couple of days. So I think like there is like this go-to thing that I like to do when I use these palettes. Like I really like that rosy tone in the middle as a crease shade. And as I mentioned, this shade right here is a great crease shade for me as well. I really enjoy this almost like taupe number that we get in here. I always reach for this darker plummy thing for the lower lash line. It's so pretty. This is a great liner shade. And then in here, we get a really pretty inner corner highlight. But I do remember, I think I also used this in one of these looks that I did. I did so many with these three palettes that I no longer remember exactly what I did. But I also really enjoyed using this. I was like, let's go for something I normally don't reach for. And this sort of like peachy rose gold was absolutely stunning. So yes, these little Huda Beauty palettes, I'm so happy I still have these. And I've said this a couple of times already, I'm sort of digging warm tones at the minute, which I know, everybody knows me for my love for all the cool tones, and I still love them. I've been buying plenty of cool tones as well, and there are still plenty of cool tones on my wish list too. But I think it's because we're heading into summer and the weather has been absolutely dreadful. As I'm filming this, it's like a complete rainstorm with thunders, like thunder clouds and whatnot going on. So I think because of the bad weather we're having, I just want to put the sunshine in my makeup looks. That's probably why I'm really digging the colorful things and also these like warmer rosy things. For some reason, I'm really digging it at the minute. So if you have any recommendations for a good warm tone palette, then let me know. Or maybe it's just something that I already have in my collection and you just want to see me use it, because I'm really digging these like warmer tones all of a sudden, which is very unlike me. It's probably a phase. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on like a bunch of new warm tone palettes, but yeah, I'm definitely digging the warm tones at the minute. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we did Menagerie. Well, one palette isn't Menagerie. It's from back when they were makeup monsters, which is the Dragon Child. And this one I had to kind of squeeze in before I did this look today. I did the look with the Dragon Child, which kind of happened because I did the looks with the Huda Beauty palettes as I was traveling, but these are so heavy that I knew I couldn't take them with me. And April was a pretty travel heavy month for me because I went to Valencia at the start of the month, and at the end of the month I went to London. Plus I had those really, really big Ensley Rain palettes to play with for my actual review, so I knew I had to squeeze these in somehow. But yeah, I ended up doing perhaps the most boring thing you can do with this eyeshadow palette, but I used these two shades and I used these two, which are like the 4 reasons why I'm keeping this palette around is those 4 shades. I also like the greens in here, those bluey shades. The yellow and the reds are really pretty. We get a gray in here, but this is a lovely sort of like dusty purple shade. It's a really good cool tone. This like indigo blue, really pretty. It's not exactly a navy. It's got a lot of purple running through it, and it looked so pretty, layered with this peachy pink sort of shimmering shade. I ended up using this all over the lid, but what I ended up doing is that I layered a little bit of this and then shimmered this on top and then another layer of this just along the lower lash line to get that intense sort of bluey purple look, but diffuse with the shimmer on top, and I thought that was really pretty. And then I used these 2 shades on the lower lash line, and I just whacked this one into the inner corner as well. That's the only downside to this palette, really. The yellow and this peachy pink are the only 2 things that are shimmers in this entire palette. But yeah, it was a very much a success. It's a very old palette because Menagerie has been Menagerie for how long? And this palette, when I bought it, was like one of the leftovers from their name change. So it was already an older palette to the line when I purchased it. So this is easily a 7-year-old palette, and it still performs beautifully. And I think that because in March I really went into colors, and now I wanted to use more colors again. And now I'm like, I need to stick to the colorful things as well, even though I love a neutral on myself. I'm not gonna lie, I love a neutral. I love how easy it is to whack on in the morning before I head out to work. But these more colorful things have shown me that even colors can look neutral or very wearable, you could say, without it looking too overly done. I feel that if you stay away from cut creases and you don't make the look too graphic, any look will really do, I feel. Secondly, I played with the Flight Club. My Flight Club palette looks slightly different from what it originally looks like because I did change some of the shades around. I had the, what's it called? Violet ink, which was very blue and very purple, but not very violet, I felt. And this had some weird warm tone neutrals in that I didn't enjoy. So I just made this more purple. So I'm pretty sure it was these 2 or these 2. And I think this one. Those are the things I believe I replaced. And I really enjoy it. But what I ended up doing with this, I played with it and forgot to take pictures. So I did it again, so I would have pictures right as I was going out the door for London. And this is just such a good crease shade for me. I love this shimmer. I'm not a huge, here I go again. I'm not a huge lover of warm tones, but this bottom row has some of the most stunning warmer tone purples on the planet. And I'm not sure if I can capture this for you. But this purple right here, the shimmer, it's so pretty. It's purple, but it's got a golden peachy pink flash with a hint of blue. So it's sort of like a blurple, but not quite. And I really felt that especially on my eyes, you could really see that blue flash. And I just really enjoyed it. I deepened up the look with a bit of this matte, but I feel that what it's lacking is something that's truly like a deeper tone that you can like do a liner with or something like that. Like a black and purple in here would have been nice. Not gonna lie. But yeah, the first time I did a look, I also worked that same shimmer in. but I combined it with, I think, this one, and it wasn't right. So when I stuck to the 3 warmer tones together, it worked a lot better for me. So let me tell you, Menagerie Flight Club is really, really pretty, and I really enjoyed that one as well. And then what is on my eyes today is one of my favorite colorful palettes of all time, and this is the Feral. I never know how to pronounce this word. But I love the cover, and you get these shades in the palette, which I love. This is the blue from the Eyes of the Wolf. You get some neutrals in here, but you get pinks, purples, a yellow and a red, and then these stunning greens. And I've done something with this palette today that I haven't done before yet, because what I've been doing when I was playing with this is that I use the corals, these pinky corals, with the blue, or like the blue with the neutrals, or the pinks with the purple. I've done the more obvious combinations, but I was like, I wonder what would happen if I put the pinks with the greens, because pink and green can be really pretty, and I feel that it's not super muddy looking. I was afraid that it would very much muddy up, but I felt it worked pretty okay. And this is another reason why I now feel like I've confirmed for myself why I love colorful palettes still, and even though they may not be my day-to-day pick, it's not like, ooh, I want to go out the door, let's reach for something colorful. That's not me. But this pink, it works like a neutral if you have a full-on colorful look. And I have said this about like some Juvia's palettes I have, some Unearthly palettes that I have, where you have these really intense, bright oranges and pinks and yellows in there, but they can work as a crease shade and as a neutral because the other parts of the look are so incredibly bright. So loving that pink, which I've used in the crease mainly, and then I use the green, the matte green, to deepen it up, to sort of create more depth in the outer V. And I've done something again with this green shimmer that I hadn't done in a long time, which is to use it all over the lid. And this green all over the lid, as you can see, it is so, so pretty. It's green, but it's got a gold flash to it. It's really pretty. It's more of like a duochrome, but again, these palettes are all a little bit older, so I don't feel it's a type of duochrome you will find in current indie brands that are like newly released in the past year or so. This is more like the old school duochrome formula, but oh boy, I love it. I love that golden sheen it has, even though I don't love golds. This one works. And then what I ended up doing is that I did sort of like a repeat of that on the lower lash line with the deeper green on the outer edge, and then that pink shimmer in the inner corner. And then of course I had to use this duochrome. It's like a neutral brown with a peachy pink flip. It's so pretty. This one did come cracked a little bit when I bought the palette, so I had to repress it. But that's what I've used to sort of highlight the inner corner and sort of tie in with the pink. So I really enjoy this. The Menagerie eyeshadow is some of the most pigmented on the planet though, but it's still really easy to work with. You do need to be really careful. Menagerie palettes I would not recommend for beginners because they are so, so incredibly pigmented. But they are buildable, you can play with it, you can blend them out. It is quite powdery, so it does create a lot of kickback, so you need to be very careful with it, even though I feel that's the same with the Lorac that I was chatting about before. But yeah, these are some stunning palettes. I really enjoy this look. It's spring in a palette for me. Like, it's so bright and vibrant and fun, and that green pop of shimmer really gets a moment to shine, which is what I was hoping to do with this look. So yeah, it does muddy up a little bit because green and pink kind of makes a purple, but I feel it does really work when I blend it all together, I feel. So when the full look came together, I was very happy with it. So I had another very successful month playing with some older eyeshadow palettes. I will be going back to some older eyeshadow palettes again in May for sure. This video was just a little bit late because of all the traveling I did. I didn't have time to film to do the looks and film this video before I left for London. I knew from the start that that was not going to happen, so that's why you got the haul I did on Thursday, because that was something I could pre-film. And then I'm filming this now that I'm back. But yeah, I will be doing another one of these before the end of the month. Stay tuned for my Shop My Stash, which should go live on Tuesday, because that's when I will show you what palettes will be featured. And of course, in the meantime, you can leave your requests in the description box, in the comments down below, if there are any particular palettes that you know I own that I haven't played with in a while that you would like to see. But I've got a pretty good list already for May. I know I want to use my Fenty palettes again. Those were in my declutter. I was like, oh, I haven't played with those in a while. So I need to go back to this. And this is how I want to make the use out of my makeup collection and inspire you to do the same, because we don't always need the new palettes. I still love all of these, so I don't need to go out and buy any more colorful palette or warm toned rosy palettes for that matter, even though I do think there might be something on the wish list that's a bit more warm toned. But if you stay tuned for tomorrow, you know what will be on the wish list from the current makeup releases that have been happening, because that's the video that you will be able to see tomorrow. So yes, I will be back with a new video soon. For today, thank you so very much for watching me. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos every single week. I have a second channel that I've mentioned a couple of times already in this video, where I do vlogs, book videos, fashion videos, pretty much anything that isn't makeup and that I want to chat about, I throw over there. And I have a blog where everything comes together as well. So there's a lot of places where you can find me, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this video today. Thumbs it up, and then I hope to see you in my next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.